So joining us today from Tennessee Martin, we have Anaya Brown and Kinley McCarn. So please raise your hand if you have a question for our student athletes.
Hi, this is Scott Doctorman with The Athletic. I want to start with Kenley and also Anaya. I guess could you talk about how the Ohio Valley Conference helped prepare you for this on this journey, and what does it mean to be able to play in the NCAA tournament?
I think we have pretty good competition in our conference. It's very competitive, so to have to battle every single game, and we constantly get better every single game, definitely helps us when we get to this level. But yeah.
It's Anaya, by the way, and it's okay. But just going out and playing day by day and just one team at a time, it'll help us prepare for this moment.
Next question, Aaron.
Aaron Blue with HawkeyeSports.com. Going into the matchup tomorrow, what do you see on film with Holy Cross? What do you expect out of the game? Any areas of focus that you guys have going into tomorrow internally for your team?
I think it's going to be a battle the whole game. They can shoot. They've got bigs. I feel like we match up pretty well, though. So, we're going to get after it on defense, and hopefully that flows into offense. But we just got to communicate really well and know what we're doing.
Kinley, we'll ask a couple other questions. Your team is a relatively young team. You've been in the postseason, but not the NCAA. How has it been for your team since Selection Sunday?
It's been an experience. It's been pretty cool. We are freshmen and sophomores, so we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into, but to get to go through all this, and it's just a really good experience. Lots of fun.
And Anaya, your team has fought through injuries this year. How has that been for you personally, or your whole team kind of rallying together?
The injuries were very disheartening, but overall we overcame them, and we just wanted to fight through.
Scott?
Yeah, this is for Kenley. We couldn't help but notice your walking boot. Is that preventative, or is that something that you maybe hurt in the conference tournament and are just kind of working through, and will you be able to play then tomorrow?
Yes, I'll absolutely be playing, but we probably think I'm going to have a stress fracture. But we just went ahead and started wearing the boot so that it doesn't get worse before we play. But I will be taking it off and playing.
Any further questions for our student athletes? All right, thank you. We'll have Coach in here in a little bit. Thank you. Okay, everyone, thank you for being here for this afternoon's press conference with UT Martin coach Kevin McMillan. Just a couple quick reminders. Please silence all cell phones. No cell phone video, flash photography, or video cameras are allowed in press conferences. And media may access press conference video at the NCAA digital workroom. If you have a question, please raise your hand and our microphone will come to you. Please identify your name and affiliation with each question. We'll start off today with a couple of opening comments from Coach McMillan.
Opening comments. Well, it's been a while since we've been here, and it's kind of wasn't expected. If you look back at November for our squad, and they've figured out a way to compete and learned how to win, and had to deal with some issues all year long, like every team does. We've had our share, but everybody's got adversity to fight through, and proud that these kids are still playing.
Okay, we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, Coach Scott Docterman with The Athletic, and I wanted to ask you about the resiliency of your team. I believe you started 0-6 early in the year, and then to come back and fight back and get to this point. What does it say about your team, how they came together, and the leadership?
Well, we really don't play seniors and juniors, so the leadership has had to come from freshmen and sophomores. And I think that's one of the reasons, early on, even though we weren't winning, we were doing stuff in games that I was extremely impressed with. We weren't getting killed on the glass against a Marquette that was ranked the top 25. We took Vanderbilt down to the last second, had a chance to win. We just, being as young as we were, we didn't know how to win. We didn't know how to win. But then the injury bug hit us, and we lost Shea Littleford, and we lost Morgan Borgstadt, we lost Allie Collette. We had already lost Sydney Boykin. Then we lost Nora Clark at the end of the year. So, I think what this team has learned how to do is reinvent itself. And each time it's reinvented itself, it's gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. And the thing that I said all year long is that they find a way, and then you just kind of fill in the blank. They'll find a way to compete on the glass. They'll find a way to rebound. They'll find a way to win. And I think that that's a rare thing these days. And when you find kids that just figure out ways, they don't have to be talented. They just figure out ways. It's a great quality that we have definitely had to tap into all season long.
Aaron Blue from HawkeyeSports.com. You mentioned it'd been a while since you've been here, but you have a lot of coaching experience in the NCAA tournament. What messages did you share with your team about competing in the NCAA tournament, being here in the moment, any things like that you shared with this young squad?
Well, as you get older, you want your kids to enjoy the moments, I guess you would say, in life that don't come around all the time. And, I've been watching, the March Madness stuff, and there's so many good teams, good coaches, good players that are either in the NCAA tournament for the first time, or they haven't been in 10 years, or they're not here. So I want these kids to enjoy it. I do think that they're young enough that they don't really know what they're doing. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think we'll figure that out tomorrow. But, it's kind of, we weren't really supposed to do it this quickly, and they've done it. And I'm hoping that they'll enjoy it, but take it as a springboard to maybe get hungry and try to do things more often.
Scott?
Yeah, Scott Docterman again with The Athletic. I wanted to ask you about Kenley McCarn and her impact, not only to help bring you to this point, but her toughness. We saw, she's got potentially a stress fracture she's trying to work through, and to do it at a high level as one of the best, if not the best player in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Well, she's got the beginnings of a stress fracture. She's got an MRI set up for her shoulder as soon as the season's over. She's got an MRI set up for her knee as soon as the season's over. We moved her to point guard back when we were 0-6, and I really wish you hadn't reminded me of 0-6. We try to block that part of the year out. But we moved her to point guard, and she's not a point guard. But when we moved her there, we started figuring out how to win ball games. You're talking about a kid that won 4 state championships in high school, was MVP 3 times. She's just a winner, and you don't count that kid out in any setting. And I think that the kids in the tournament kind of looked at her, and she put it on another level, and they all just said, "Oh well, yeah, let's do it." It's again one of those rare qualities that you find in especially in somebody as young as she is, that she's able to galvanize the people around her and make them raise their game. And it was fun to watch. I mean, I sat over and shut my mouth and let them do their thing because they were following her.
Aaron Blue with HawkeyeSports.com. You mentioned, the start, the injuries, everything that goes with that, and having a young team that's just kind of enjoying the moment. But as you reflect on it, how difficult was the year with everything, and how sweet is the moment winning the tournament and then getting to this point, given everything that's happened?
Well, I think the most difficult, it's been hard. I mean, let's be honest. It's been really hard. The most difficult thing for me, again, as I get older, is when you look out there and you're putting these young kids in positions that they're not accustomed to, and then you're asking them to play 38, 39, 40 minutes a game, and you see the toll on their body that it takes every single day. And it's hard on me to put them out there and ask them to do that. But when things happen and circumstances are what they are, you do what you have to do. We didn't go into this season thinking we'd have 4 kids that averaged 38 plus minutes. We didn't think we'd be getting 98% of our scoring from freshmen and sophomores. We didn't plan on all that stuff. It just happened. And so looking back, again, as coaches, we don't ever really get to enjoy what we go through. You just don't. And that's probably the worst part of our profession. But I hope these kids have enjoyed it. And I hope that our fan base has enjoyed it, getting to know these kids. But for me personally, it's been a hard year watching these kids struggle, watching them hurt. But then seeing them reap the benefits of their work, it's extremely enjoyable.
Coach, I'll throw one question in. Opposite of your younger team, Holy Cross plays a lot of seniors. They were in the tournament last year. In a quick turnaround, how do you see the matchup and what your team has to do in the first game?
Well, ironically, if you listen kind of what I was talking about, we don't have a point guard. Everybody's out of position. So we've actually gotten pretty decent at playing different styles, turn around things quickly, because we're not really very good at one particular thing, because we're not in what we're natural at. So, they are way more experienced, which is a challenge. And the problem is the offenses and defensive scheme that they have is extremely hard to prepare for, especially in a quick turnaround. So I think our kids have had to do that and have done it against some teams in our league. Again, they could be starry-eyed, and we've been down 17-3 in games and come back and figured out our ways to compete. I don't know, but I think that Holy Cross presents some problems for us that these kids hopefully have seen on film and can figure out. What I'm hoping that they'll do is find some team that we've played that they can connect to. Actually, the team that we likened them to was the team we played in the first game of the season was Marquette and some of their players. But I'm hoping that that'll click in their minds and that they can have some kind of reference point which might help them.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you, Coach. Thanks for joining us, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.